Samurai, how did they form the Japanese conscience? When people hear the word samurai, they often imagine warriors in armor, gripping swords, riding into battle with absolute fearlessness. This image is dramatic and not entirely wrong, but it tells only part of the story. The samurai were not merely fighters. Over centuries, they became administrators, scholars, teachers, and moral role models. Long after their swords were put away, their values continue to shape how Japanese people think about duty, learning, work, and responsibility. In this sense, the samurai helped form what we might call the Japanese conscience, a shared understanding of discipline, loyalty, endurance, and social harmony. To understand modern Japan, we must look beyond the battlefield and follow how the samurai adapted, survived, and quietly shaped everyday life. Who the samurai really were. The samurai emerged around the 10th century as armed retainers protecting landowners. Over time, they rose to become Japan's ruling class, especially after military governments known as shogunates replaced imperial rule. For centuries, samurai controlled politics, law, and education. What often surprises people is that most samurai did not spend their lives fighting. During the long peace of the Edo period, from the early 1600s to the mid-1800s, warfare almost disappeared. Samurai were still paid by their lords, but instead of fighting, they became clerks, judges, teachers, and local officials. Many lived quiet lives devoted to study, administration, and moral self-cultivation. This transformation was critical. It allowed samurai values to move out of war and into governance, education, and ethics, where they could influence society far more deeply and permanently. Bushido, a moral way of life. At the heart of samurai culture was Bushido, meaning the way of the warrior. Today, it is often described as a strict moral code, but historically it was more fluid, an ethical ideal shaped over centuries by multiple philosophies. Bushido drew heavily from Zen Buddhism, which taught calmness, focus, and acceptance of death. It absorbed Confucianism, which emphasized loyalty, hierarchy, duty, and moral behavior within society. It also reflected Shinto, which valued sincerity, honor, and respect for tradition. Together, these influences created a powerful mindset, emotional restraint, unwavering responsibility, and moral clarity under pressure. Key virtues included loyalty to one's duty, honor in one's actions, self-discipline, courage, and integrity. Samurai were expected to act correctly not because they were watched, but because their character demanded it. It is important to note that while these values were ancient, the term Bushido itself gained its greatest global recognition during the Meiji era. In 1899, Nitobe Inazo published Bushido, the Soul of Japan in English, aiming to explain Japanese ethics to Western readers. In doing so, he effectively branded samurai morality for the modern world, transforming a lived tradition into a national and international ideal. The Meiji Restoration, when samurai became modern. The most crucial turning point came in 1868 during the Meiji Restoration. As Japan rushed to modernize and compete with Western powers, the samurai class was officially abolished. Samurai lost their stipends, swords, and legal privileges almost overnight. At first glance, it looked like the end of their influence. In reality, it was the beginning of their most important transformation. Former samurai became teachers, police officers, civil servants, and industrial leaders. They staffed the new national school system, enforced modern law, and managed factories and government offices. In effect, the samurai became the intellectual and moral engine of modern Japan. Rather than discarding samurai values, the Meiji government redirected them. Loyalty, once given to a feudal lord, was now given to the nation. Discipline once used for combat was applied to study and work. The samurai conscience survived not by resisting change, but by adapting to it. From dojo to classroom, education and character. Even before Meiji, samurai education emphasized both learning and morality. Literacy, philosophy, and ethical conduct were considered just as important as physical skill. After 1868, this belief shaped Japan's modern education system. Students were taught not only academic subjects, but behavior, respect for teachers, responsibility for shared spaces, perseverance through difficulty. Practices such as students cleaning their own classrooms were not about saving money. They were about building humility and discipline. Another important legacy is the concept of kata, meaning form. In samurai training, every action followed a precise pattern: how to move, sit, bow, or strike. Mastery came from repeating correct form until it became instinct. This idea still shapes Japanese life today. The careful exchange of business cards, the exact steps of a tea ceremony, and even the way train conductors point at signals, all reflect a belief that how something is done matters as much as what is done. Correct form builds trust, order, and respect. Samurai physical training also evolved into modern Budo, martial ways, such as kendo, judo, and aikido. These are not merely sports. In Japan, they are taught as forms of character education, linking the samurai's physical discipline directly to the modern student. From daimyo to CEO, the corporate samurai. To understand modern Japanese work culture, one concept stands out: the salaryman. In the mid-20th century, the salaryman was often described as a corporate samurai. Like his ancestor, the salaryman served one organization with loyalty, endured long hours, prioritized group success over personal ambition, and took pride in perseverance. The feudal relationship between lord and retainer evolved into a modern one between company and employee. Business philosophies such as kaizen, or continuous improvement, echo the samurai belief in lifelong mastery. Group harmony, consensus-based decision-making, and long-term responsibility reflect values that once governed the warrior class. In this way, the samurai conscience quietly moved from the castle to the office. Endurance in crisis and its cost. Samurai-derived values are often most visible during times of crisis. After natural disasters, observers frequently note the calm, orderly behavior of Japanese citizens, lining up patiently, helping others, following rules even under stress. This reflects centuries-old lessons in self-control, dignity, and responsibility to the group. Yet this same devotion to duty has a shadow side. In its extreme form, it has contributed to karoshi, death from overwork. When endurance becomes obligation without limits, discipline can turn into self-erasure. Modern Japan continues to wrestle with this tension, seeking balance between tradition and well-being. Conclusion: a living legacy. The samurai did not vanish, they transformed. From warriors to scholars, from bureaucrats to teachers, from sword-bearers to corporate workers, their values evolved alongside Japan itself. Today, the samurai no longer carry blades, but their legacy lives on in classrooms, offices, factories, and everyday rituals of care and discipline. The Japanese conscience, they helped shape values, effort over ease, responsibility over reward, and harmony over ego. As Japan moves deeper into the 21st century, one question remains: can the way of the warrior survive in an age of remote work, global individualism, and personal autonomy? Or will it, as it always has, adapt once again? That answer is still being written.
It's time to study new words in context. 1. Gripping. Definition: holding attention very strongly, often because something is exciting, intense, or emotionally powerful. Example: the documentary opened with a gripping account of a samurai's final stand. 2. Retainer. Definition: a person who serves a powerful leader or lord, especially in a historical or feudal system. Example: the samurai served as retainers who pledged loyalty to their lord. 3. Shogunates. Definition: military governments in Japan ruled by a shogun, where real political power rested with military leaders rather than the emperor. Example: the shogunates controlled Japan for centuries through military authority and strict social order. 4. Hierarchy. Definition: a system in which people or groups are ranked one above another, according to authority or importance. Example: samurai society followed a strict hierarchy that defined everyone's role and responsibilities. 5. Unwavering. Definition: not changing or weakening, especially in belief, loyalty, or determination. Example: the samurai were known for their unwavering loyalty to their lord. 6. Stipend. Definition: a fixed, regular payment given for services, often to officials, students, or members of a traditional class. Example: during the Edo period, samurai received a stipend instead of earning money through trade. 7. Discarding. Definition: getting rid of something because it is no longer wanted or considered useful. Example: Japan modernized rapidly without discarding the ethical values inherited from the samurai. 8. Perseverance. Definition: the ability to continue working toward a goal, despite difficulty, failure, or delay. Example: perseverance was taught as a virtue in both samurai training and modern Japanese education. 9. Salaryman compared to salaried man. Definition: salaryman is a Japanese-made English term referring to a full-time male corporate worker in Japan who is expected to show loyalty, endurance, and commitment to one company. Salaried man simply means anyone who earns a salary and does not carry the same cultural meaning. Example: the post-war Japanese salaryman was often described as a modern version of the samurai, devoted to his company. 10. Prioritized. Definition: treated as more important than other things and given attention first. Example: group harmony was prioritized over individual ambition in both samurai culture and corporate life. 11. Feudal. Definition: relating to a historical system in which land and power were controlled by lords, and loyalty and service were exchanged for protection. Example: samurai lived within a feudal system that bound them to their lord through duty and honor. 12. Kaizen. Definition: a Japanese concept meaning continuous improvement through small, steady efforts over time. Example: kaizen encourages workers to improve their skills a little each day, rather than seeking sudden success. 13. Self-erasure. Definition: the loss or suppression of one's personal needs, identity, or well-being for the sake of duty or obligation. Example: extreme overwork can lead to self-erasure when individuals ignore their health entirely. 14. Bureaucrat. Definition: a person who works within a government or administrative system, following established rules and procedures. Example: many former samurai became bureaucrats during the Meiji era, helping to run the modern state. Quick reference: samurai legacy terms. Bushido, the way of the warrior, the moral code. Kata, form, or pattern, the correct way of doing things. Gaman, endurance, or perseverance, staying calm during hardship. Kaizen, continuous improvement, the pursuit of perfection. Kuroshi, death from overwork, the extreme side of devotion.
Comprehension questions. 1. What common image do people usually associate with samurai? And why is it incomplete? Answer. People often imagine samurai only as armored warriors fighting with swords. But this image is incomplete, because most samurai later became administrators, teachers, and scholars. 2. How did the role of the samurai change during the Edo period? Answer. During the Edo period, long-lasting peace meant samurai rarely fought, and instead worked as bureaucrats, educators, and local officials. 3. What is meant by the phrase Japanese conscience in the article? Answer. The phrase refers to shared cultural values such as discipline, loyalty, endurance, and social responsibility shaped over centuries by samurai ethics. 4. What philosophical traditions influenced Bushido? Answer: Bushido was influenced by Zen Buddhism, Confucianism, and Shinto beliefs. 5. Why was Zen Buddhism important to samurai thinking? Answer: Zen Buddhism taught calmness, focus, and acceptance of death, which helped samurai maintain composure under pressure. 6. How did Confucianism shape samurai behavior? Answer: Confucianism emphasized loyalty, hierarchy, duty, and moral responsibility within society. 7. Why is it important that Bushido was later written about and promoted during the Meiji era? Answer: Writing about Bushido helped transform samurai values into a national ethical ideal, suitable for modern Japan and global understanding. 8. What happened to the samurai during the Meiji Restoration? Answer: The samurai class was abolished, and samurai lost their special status, weapons, and income. 9. Did samurai disappear after the Meiji Restoration? Explain. Answer: No, they did not disappear. Many became teachers, police officers, government officials, and business leaders. 10. How did samurai values influence modern Japanese education? Answer: Samurai values shaped education by emphasizing discipline, respect, responsibility, and character development rather than only academic success. 11. What is kata, and why is it important? Answer: Kata is a concept meaning correct form or pattern, teaching that how something is done is as important as the outcome. 12. Give one modern example of kata mentioned in the article. Answer: The careful exchange of business cards reflects kata, through its precise and respectful form. 13. What are Budo practices? And how are they connected to samurai training? Answer: Budo practices such as kendo and judo evolved from samurai martial training and are now used to teach discipline and character. 14. Who is a salaryman, and why is the term culturally significant? Answer: A salaryman is a Japanese corporate worker expected to show loyalty and endurance, reflecting samurai-like devotion in modern work culture. 15. How does the relationship between a salaryman and a company resemble feudal relationships? Answer: Just as samurai served their lord with loyalty, salarymen traditionally served one company with dedication and obedience. 16. What is kaizen, and how does it relate to samurai values? Answer: Kaizen means continuous improvement, and reflects the samurai belief in lifelong self-discipline and mastery. 17. How do samurai values appear during modern crises in Japan? Answer: They appear through calm behavior, patience, cooperation, and respect for order during emergencies. 18. What is karoshi, and how does it relate to the shadow side of samurai values? Answer: Karoshi means death from overwork, and shows how extreme devotion to duty can harm individuals. 19. Why does the article argue that samurai values survived modernization? Answer: Samurai values survived because they adapted to new roles in education, government, and business rather than disappearing. 20. What final question does the article leave for the reader to consider? Answer: It asks whether the way of the warrior can continue to exist in a modern world, shaped by individualism and remote work.